Hi and welcome to the next lesson, and in this lesson we will speak about input-output of the program. So first let's write an integer I and read the integer I. For this we call a function read with f for formatting, then we put parentheses and space to read the value from. We put percentage sign and s for all the inputs, and then the actual input with this symbol. And now let's output it. Right line I, and let's run our code. Now it waits for our input, so for example 123, and we get the same thing. Now let's try a floating point number, 12 point, and we get cutted number. So now let's try inputting a float. Let's compile successfully. So 12.3 again, and we get 12.3. Now let's try to exceed this size and we get shortened answer. Now we can also input boolean. Let's try this. And we get true. This goes for the same for all the variables. The difference is when we write formatted right line or write with just letter F, and then we format the output. So for example, we have I here, which is a boolean. For boolean we put percentage sign and s, because it becomes string. In case of readf, s detects the value type, so it detects that I is a boolean, and it puts the corresponding value of the corresponding type. Okay, so now let's try working with different variable types. So for example, we can input integer, and let's see what the program does. It compiled. Interesting. Now let's write something like 1 to 3, and it outputs 1 to 3 as a string. But for the numbers, even though it worked, we need to use D. So let's compile again, run, and get the same result. But we can also change the spacing by writing some number before D. So for example, we want 10 spaces. Let's compile and run our program. And as you can see, we have spaces. So for example, if you put 11, it will be, as you can see, on the same line, because it has the same size. Okay. Now if you want to output a floating point number, you will have to put a formatted letter here, F, and you will have to change the variable type to float. Now let's format it as 1.4, so we will have 4 digits precision for number. So let's run our code. And enter something like this. You will get formatted it to 4 digits. Now let's input something like this, and again we have formatted it to 4 digits. Simple, right? Now this is for floats. For numbers we have D, for floats we have F. For characters we have C. So character I, let's input it. And we get the character out. For the boolean we have S, boolean, and then let's write DMD, FP, and then true, we get true back. So this is how you work and format variables and output and input them in this code. So now your assignment will be to just for yourself to practice outputting and inputting all the variable types. And another assignment that we will do here right now is to input 2 floating point numbers and divide them and output it to the screen. Okay, now pause the video and do the exercise. Okay, now let's do it together. So we will need integer I and integer j. You can create 2 integers, separating them in one statement with a single comma. And now let's say we want to read them. So we write another readf. And here we will have the same thing like as here, because %s works for all numbers. Don't forget the ampersand. And then j. Now we have inputted 2 numbers. And it's a good practice to put a space here to avoid some kind of errors. And then we can output it as not formatted by a simple write command, like this: I divided by j. And now let's run our code. We have to change it to float. Now let's try again. And now the float is inputted and we get the output. This is how you write a simple calculation program in